In this video, I'm going to teach you how to maintain a healthy relationship. So just for context, I've been in 3 relationships now. One of them was long-term for about 3 to 4 months. I ended it because, for whatever reasons, but I've learned a lot over these past few relationships, over this past year, about how to actually maintain a healthy relationship. Now, you're probably wondering, what would you know? Because you've been in relationships, but you're not in one currently. And I've also been in relationships. I have maybe more progress or more experience than you. So how could you possibly know more about it than I do? Now, I want to explain something to you. Every time I begin on a new endeavor in my life, I spend the majority of my time focusing on it and honing it in and spending a majority of my time thinking, okay, how can I be better at this? How can I be a better boyfriend? How can I be better in a relationship? How can I make my relationship healthier? And because of that, I actually make 10x the growth that a regular person does when they're in a relationship, because most regular people spend most of their relationships or most of their time, even generally in life, just living, like unaware. They're just there floating along like, oh, I'm in this relationship, okay, la-di-da-di-da, everything's nice. They're not actually thinking in their head, okay, I want to be a really good boyfriend. How can I be the best possible boyfriend? How can I make this the healthiest relationship in the world? How can I become so good at relationships? Every single relationship that I've been in has been utterly healthy. There have obviously, I won't lie, okay, there have been some toxic ones, but you can't learn without making mistakes in the first place. And I've gotten the results to prove me that I know what I'm talking about. So if you want to get similar results that I have and maintain a healthy relationship as a guy, watch the rest of this video.
Babe, wake up. Lanik dropped another one.
So, first point, ask her to do basic things for you, because it likens her towards you. Now, this is a little psychology trick. I believe it's from How to Win Friends and Influence People. But when you ask someone to do something for you, ask them a favor, I don't know what it is, but for some reason it always likens you, or it always makes them like you a bit more. It always attracts them to you. I don't know why. Maybe it's like, if I want to get a little bit psychological, maybe a little bit controversial, maybe it brings out their submissiveness and their willing to, not their willing, but their nature to serve, if that makes sense. All of us have that part of us that is a little bit submissive, that wants to serve, that wants to just do things for people. And when you ask someone to do something for them, or when you ask someone to do something for you, it brings that out within them. And serving likens you towards that person. It's weird. It's a little bit of a weird thing, but it works really, really well. I've used it all the time. I turned all of my exes basically into little assistants for me. I would be like, I would be stood there and I would make her hold all of my things, my phone, my AirPods, my keys, whatever, and I'd ask her to give them to me. I would be standing there in the room and there's something that's next to her, like on the other side of her, but she's next to me, and I'd just go, oh, could you just pass me that? Could you grab me that? Could you do this for me? Could you do that for me? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. And they'll give it to me, and then they'll give me a kiss, and then they're just like super lovey-dovey for the rest of the day. I don't know why, but it just works really, really well. And it's such a good tip. The second point, set boundaries, but don't be afraid to be firm with these boundaries. So have a certain idea in your head of what standards you want, what you expect from a relationship, and be firm with them, right? I don't want you to just be instantly flexible on these boundaries, because what's the point in having them? What's the point in having a boundary if you're just going to instantly bend over, right? Now, these boundaries are completely up to you, whether they might be, hey, I like this a certain way in my room, don't touch it, don't move it. That's just a really basic one, but be strict with them. If, say, for example, your boundary is that you don't believe guys and girls can be friends, then explain that to her and be firm with it. If you notice anything of her being like, hey, I want to have friends, this is just an example, by the way, but if you notice any of her being like, oh, I'm friends with this one guy, blah, 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 just say, no, I don't believe in that. That goes against my boundaries. That goes against my personal beliefs. I don't want to be with you if you're going to be like that. And it's completely okay for you to say that. Don't be afraid to be firm with them, especially when it comes to your boundaries. Don't be afraid to, because a lot of guys I see, they're so afraid to be firm with their boundaries in fear that they'll lose the relationship or lose the girl that they're with. And because of that, they're willing to bend whichever way, right? Which is wrong, because then you're losing yourself. You are your boundaries. If you don't have your boundaries, you meld into her. You just become an extension of her. You want to maintain yourself. You want to continue being yourself. And your boundaries are what makes you you. If you don't set those boundaries and be firm with them, then you're just a stick waving in the wind, right? You want to be a firm tree, planted, and have that firm sense about you where you don't bend. Now, it is quite difficult to do this because, like I said, you're afraid of losing them, you're afraid of losing the relationship. Oh no, this is the first girl that's ever loved you or shown you love in this way, and you don't want to lose that, so you might bend a little bit. Be willing to bend. I'm not saying don't be willing to, but don't bend so much that it opposes your standards. Have your standards there and be firm with them. Literally say, like, I can't be with you if you don't agree with this boundary, which isn't manipulative. It's just having your boundaries. Because guess what? They will do the exact same thing to you. They will say, hey, if you're such and such certain way about this, I don't want to be with you. It's 100% okay to say that. And I need you to understand that. The next point is what I just said, be willing to bend, but not so much that it opposes your standards. And we've kind of already covered that, so I'll skip over it. It's going to take a lot of hard work. And that's the next point. It's not easy being in a long-term healthy relationship. It's quite difficult because you have to accommodate for your insecurities, their insecurities. You have to work hard to understand them and where they're coming from, put yourself in their shoes, and they have to do the same for you. So it's both parties have to work really hard, and you do have to serve each other. To serve each other, to make each other happy, you have to do a little extra 10% to be like, okay, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to get you flowers just for this special day, just because, right? All of these small little things of being romantic and giving that extra 10%, while on top of that, like I said, understanding them, understanding where they come from, understanding their insecurities and why they have them. It's a lot of hard work, and I want you to make sure that you're ready for that hard work before you even think about getting in a long-term healthy relationship. Next, you will have to change over time. Now, I know I did just say, set boundaries, don't be afraid to be firm with them, set your standards, and be willing to bend, but not so much, but well, all of that. But over time, you will still change. It's inevitable, because you're inviting this person into your inner life, into your inner sanctum, and because of that, parts of them will rub off onto you, but also parts of you will rub off onto them. And you have to be open to that happening. So make sure that the person that you're being with is someone that you're comfortable with all of this happening with. I mean, that goes without saying, but just be aware that yes, you are going to change over time. Yes, things will happen. Yes, things might change your personality a little bit. And be open to that. The next point, you will, like I said, you will change, but you also grow together in a positive direction, hopefully, if it is a healthy relationship. Always have that student mindset, even in a relationship. Always think, how can we make this relationship better? How can we be better for each other? And it sounds like stupidly over the top and over optimizing, blah blah blah. But even having the smallest things like little check-ins with your partner. Hey, how have we been lately? Are we good? Have there been any things in my behavior lately that have set you off? Have these important conversations, because trust me, that helps so much. It sounds cringe having these like over the top, over optimizing conversations, but they help so much in just clearing the air between your partner, because things build up that you don't even know about. Things happen that might set her off, might set you off, but you just never talk about them because you don't deem it as important to talk about in your head until it all adds up and comes out in one rageful argument. You don't want that to happen. So why don't you regularly clear the air, regularly have a little check-in where you're like, how are we? Are we okay? How have things been lately? Have I said anything that might have set you off without me realizing? And then be apologetic, be understanding, and actually make a mental note of it and be like, okay, that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I need to remember, okay, I can't be like this in this state. Like, maybe you said something that was out of line that is just something that you usually say with your friends, but maybe she didn't enjoy it. Whatever it might be, actually be proactive about trying to change it. Because this is a healthy relationship. You want to actually work on the relationship. You want it to work out, right? So you need to take all of these steps, which is the hard work that I was saying earlier. And like I said, step 7, you're going to learn each other anyways. So you need to learn each other. You need to learn what each other likes, what each other don't like. You need to be aware of that, because this is like the small things that she'll really enjoy and she'll really like that you remember. Oh, you remembered that I didn't like olives, how cute, blah, blah, blah. All of that. It's like, it sounds soft and sappy, but it's important. And expect the same from her, obviously. Expect her to remember the small things. I don't like tomatoes, so she didn't put any on my sandwich when I asked her to make me a sandwich. Next point, become comfy living with one another. So, my last long-term relationship, I technically lived with her for a little bit. We became quite comfy in each other's presence. And I feel like that's so important for a relationship, especially early on, is getting that experience living with each other, because it throws you into this whole new dynamic, which you're not used to, of understanding each other on a deeper level, which you wouldn't have been able to experience if you never lived together. And by doing that, you're instantly made aware to little character traits, idiosyncrasies about that person that you might not have immediately liked. And then you can tell them and say, hey, I didn't really like this in your little check-in sessions. Or it might be the other way around. She might not like things about you, and then she can tell you and you can adapt. Or you can just become used to them and just say, hey, you know what? Even though I don't really like that, it's her. And I'll just get used to it with her. And that's it. Sometimes it is literally just as simple as that. And that's what I mean by be willing to bend, but not so much that it opposes your standards. So a little example, I don't know, maybe she has a lot of makeup products and facial care products, and she likes to keep them all in the bathroom on your sink. Before, your sink was completely empty, and now your sink is full with all her products. But oh well, it's really not that deep, right? So you can be willing to bend on that. You don't need to create a huge argument, you don't need to get upset over it. But at the same time, if there's something that's completely out of line, like, hey, she has male friends and I don't believe guys and girls can be friends, I don't believe in that, be firm with that, right? It's about understanding the grey line that's there, because you need to make that grey line a black and white line for yourself. Next, growth, rinse, and repeat formula. Everything that I've said here, it's pretty basic. Just rinse and repeat it, and it will lead to growth. Remember all of these key points that I've said, because they help immensely when it comes to maintaining a healthy relationship, and especially if this is someone that you can see a future with. And you need her to be on the same page. So honestly, I recommend that you get her to watch this video as well, because it will help you so much. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.